Have you ever heard of a revolution so powerful it shattered the chains of slavery, defeated Napoleon's armies, and created the world's first Black Republic? This isn't a fantasy epic, it's the real, raw, and revolutionary story of Haiti. Forget what you think you know, because today we're diving into what is arguably the most successful uprising against slavery in all of human history. It all starts in the late 18th century on a French colony called Saint Domingue. This wasn't just any colony, it was the Pearl of the Antilles, the most profitable colony in the world. Its immense wealth, built on sugar and coffee, was generated by the brutal, back-breaking labor of 500,000 enslaved Africans. The conditions were horrific. The system was designed to work people to death and simply replace them. But in the hearts and minds of these enslaved people, a different kind of fire was burning, the fire of freedom. The spark came in August 1791. On a stormy night, at a place called Bois Caiman, a Vodou priest named Duddy Boukman held a secret ceremony. Surrounded by representatives from various plantations, he delivered a powerful call to arms. This wasn't just a prayer, it was a declaration of war. It was a promise that they would live free or die trying. Days later, the northern plains of Saint Domingue erupted in flames. Plantations were burned, and the oppressors faced the fury of those they had brutalized for so long. The Haitian Revolution had begun. Initially, the rebellion was a chaotic but powerful force. Thousands of enslaved people, armed with farming tools, torches, and an unbreakable will, fought with a ferocity that stunned the French colonists. But a rebellion needs a leader, a strategist, a visionary. And from this crucible of chaos, one of the greatest military minds in history emerged, Toussaint Louverture. Louverture was a formerly enslaved man, a coachman who had taught himself to read and write. He was a brilliant tactician and a political genius. He saw that to truly win, the rebels needed to be more than just a furious mob, they needed to be a disciplined army. He trained his soldiers in guerrilla warfare, using their knowledge of the terrain to outsmart and outmaneuver their enemies. He forged alliances, negotiated with the Spanish and the British, who also had interests in the region, and played the colonial powers against each other, all while building a formidable fighting force. By 1794, the situation had become so intense that the French government in Paris, in a desperate move to keep the colony, officially abolished slavery in all its territories. It was a monumental victory, a direct result of the relentless pressure from the Haitian rebels. Louverture, now a general in the French army, helped drive out the Spanish and British forces, consolidating his power over the entire island of Hispaniola. He became its governor, enacting a constitution and working to rebuild the shattered economy. For a moment, it seemed like a new era of freedom and autonomy had dawned. But in France, a new power was rising, Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon had grand ambitions for a French empire in the Americas, and a free black population leading the most valuable colony in the world did not fit into his plans. He saw Louverture not as a French general, but as an obstacle. His goal was simple and sinister: to reinstate slavery and bring Saint Domingue back under absolute French control. In 1802, Napoleon sent the largest expeditionary force ever to leave France. Commanded by his own brother-in-law, Charles Leclerc, an army of tens of thousands of veteran soldiers landed on the shores of Haiti. Their mission was clear: crush the rebellion and re-enslave the people. What followed was a war of unimaginable brutality. Louverture, facing overwhelming odds, instructed his generals to burn the cities and fight to the last. The French forces were met with scorched earth tactics. The Haitian soldiers, now fighting not just for autonomy but for their very freedom from chains, put up a heroic resistance. The French captured cities, but they couldn't control the countryside. They won battles, but they couldn't break the people's spirit. Leclerc, realizing he couldn't win militarily, resorted to deception. He invited Louverture to a meeting under a flag of truce, promising to respect his retirement. It was a trap. Toussaint Louverture was captured, deported to France, and imprisoned in a freezing dungeon in the Jura Mountains. He would die there months later, but his final words to his captors echoed with prophecy in overthrowing the You have done no more than cut down the trunk of the tree of black liberty in Saint Domingue. It will spring up again from the roots, for they are many and they are deep." He was right. The capture of Louverture did not end the revolution, it ignited its most ferocious phase. The betrayal and the clear intention of the French to bring back slavery enraged the Haitian population. A new leader, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Louverture's most brilliant and ruthless general, took command. Where Louverture was a diplomat, Dessalines was a pure warrior. He unified the rebel armies under a new banner of total independence. No more negotiating with France. The only acceptable outcome was a new nation, free and sovereign. And then, a new, unexpected ally joined the Haitian side, yellow fever. The European soldiers, with no immunity to the tropical diseases of the Caribbean, began dying in droves. The French army was decimated. Leclerc himself succumbed to the fever. The once mighty Napoleonic force was reduced to a shadow of its former self, trapped and demoralized. Dessalines' forces launched a final, decisive offensive. At the Battle of Vertières in November 1803, the Haitian army, fighting under the motto Liberty or Death, crushed the last remnants of the French forces. It was the ultimate victory. On January 1, 1804, Jean-Jacques Dessalines stood before his people and declared the independence of Haiti. He tore the white stripe from the French tricolor flag, creating the first Haitian flag, symbolizing the removal of the white colonists and the unity of the black and mixed-race populations. Saint Domingue was no more. The nation was renamed Haiti, its original indigenous Taino name, signifying a complete break from its colonial past. Let's pause and consider the magnitude of this achievement. A population of enslaved people, with no resources, no international support, and facing the most powerful empires on earth, fought and won their freedom. They defeated the local slave-owning class, the Spanish Empire, the British Empire, and finally, Napoleon's France at the height of its power. This was the first and only time in history that a slave uprising led to the creation of an independent state. It was a direct challenge to the entire global system of slavery and white supremacy. The Haitian Revolution sent shockwaves across the world. For enslaved people everywhere, from the United States to Brazil, Haiti became a symbol of hope, a shining beacon proving that freedom was possible. For slave-owning nations, it became a source of profound fear. They ostracized Haiti, imposing a crippling economic embargo, terrified that the Haitian virus of liberty would spread. France even forced Haiti to pay an enormous indemnity in 1825 reparations not to the formerly enslaved, but to the former slaveholders for their lost property. This debt would cripple Haiti's economy for over a century, a cruel punishment for the crime of being free. Despite the immense challenges that followed, the core achievement of the Haitian Revolution remains unparalleled. It was more than just a rebellion, it was a complete reordering of society. It proved that the ideals of the French Revolution, liberty, equality, fraternity, were not just for Europeans, but for all humanity. The Haitian people took those ideals and made them real, at a time when the rest of the world was still debating whether they even counted as human. So, when we talk about great revolutions in history, the story of Haiti must be at the forefront. It is a story of incredible courage, brilliant strategy, and an unquenchable thirst for freedom. It is the story of Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and the 500,000 people who dared to believe in a world without masters. It is, without a doubt, history's most successful uprising against slavery. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into such a pivotal moment in world history. If you found this story as powerful as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that challenge the way we see the past. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.